Hey everybody, welcome back to another SUPboarder video. This time we're going to be having a look at the Aqua Marina advanced all-round range of boards and giving you a comparison review of these 5 boards because they're all fairly similar shapes, and really if you're an 85-90 kilo rider you pretty much could ride all of these boards. So by the end of this video you're going to know which board will definitely suit you. So remember, Aqua Marina just make inflatable paddleboards and they have quite a big range, and we've done a full sort of first quick look range overview already, so check that out on SUPboarder and on our YouTube channel. So this video we're going to be looking at the all-round advanced range. Now this is stepping up a gear in quality and really what you can do with the boards compared to the more basic all-round boards. Those boards don't get any wider than 32 wide, they're all 30 wide, so they're better for the lighter riders, really maybe for the entry level lighter paddlers getting into the sport. This more advanced all-round range is still very much a beginner based range of boards, but it's somebody who's probably a bit more committed to the sport because they're a little bit more money and they definitely are going to allow you to do more paddling disciplines. So 5 boards here, and they are similar sort of shapes and sizes really, and it can be a bit confusing understanding which one would best suit you, especially when you could pretty much get away with riding all of them, as I said, if you're an 85-90 kilo person. So what we'll do before we go over the specifications for each board, let's go over what you get in the package and what you get on all of the boards together. So up at the front, all of the boards have got the bungee tie downs, which are great for putting your dry bags, drinks, spare clothes, that sort of stuff under the front there. It means then you can go a little bit further with these boards, you can go around the next corner, and potentially you'd even do a simple overnighter with your paddleboard, which is a great thing to get into if you haven't done that already. Moving back, then you've got your large EVA deck pad, similar sort of style on all the boards, comfy right to the tail, and then they've all got mini tail kick pads, which is where the back of the EVA is raised up. So if you're doing maneuvers like step back turns, you can get your foot against it, raise the nose of the board up, and you can pivot on the tail really easy. A nice thing to have, and it's really nice to feel, is a different EVA pattern here so you can feel it on your foot. All the boards have got that. All the boards have got the same carry handle. It's definitely not the most refined carry handle on the market, but all these boards are fairly lightweight, so it's not a problem carrying them with this handle. The graphics on all the boards are very different, but they're all put onto the board in the same way. They've got like a printed graphic that sort of really looks like it's part of the PVC material that's on the board. It is a very well finished off graphic, and it hasn't seemed to scratch or come off when we've been rushing it up the beach or rubbing it up the rocks or the sand. So it's a hard wearing graphic, and it does look really smart on all the boards. It just depends on what sort of graphic style you really like the most. All of the boards have got the leashing point at the back, and then behind that you'll find the inflation valve as well. At the back of the board underneath, all of the boards have got the same fin system. They've got the clip-in slide iSUP fin system, very common in a lot of iSUPs. The good thing about that now is you can find spares for this all around the world. It's a simple system, it works really well, just getting you on the water quickly, and it's going to help you paddle in a straight line because it's got a nice big wide base fin, which makes that really easy. The smallest thing, but definitely the most important thing you get, is a leash. It's a simple, lightweight leash that a lot of other brands have started doing now as well. And to be honest, it is a great leash to get you on the water. It's not the sort of leash that you want to take on a full expedition or even touring a little bit further around the coast or take it surfing, because it's not the strongest of leashes. But for generally mucking about, having fun in the shallows on a nice sunny day, this leash is exactly what you want. Put it on your ankle, you won't even know you're wearing it, but it will keep you attached to your board, and it comes as standard with all of the Aqua Marina boards this year. Then moving on to the pump, you've got an Aqua Marina two-way pump, which means it pumps on the upstroke and on the downstroke, and then when the pumping gets hard you can take out that valve and then it just pumps on the downstroke, so you don't get too much build up with your arms when you're pulling the pump up. It's not the most refined pump on the market. It will get your board up to the recommended pressure of 15 psi. If I was going to bring out any negatives for the board package, it probably would be around this pump. The foot pegs could do with being a little bit bigger and maybe the handles a little bit wider, but as I said, it will get your air into the board, and for the price point of these boards it is acceptable. So the bag it comes with, as we said in last year's review, is a sort of simple stuff sack backpack style thing. It's very easy to use. You've got open clips. This has got a board in it already obviously, and then the boards just clip back and then you fold them back. So it's not really a backpack, it's more of a stuff sack, foldable bag sort of thing. But it does keep your board, it stops it getting dirty, and it's easy to put in the back of the car. It's not waterproof, so obviously if you've got a wet board, you will have a wet car of it. And it's not the best for carrying long distances because it's got a very simple, basic shoulder strap. But it will keep your board tidy, and it will keep it all together when you're transporting it to and from your paddle location. And last but not least, as standard with all of the advanced all-round range, you get a 3-piece aluminium paddle with all the boards as well. It's got a plastic blade, so it's super hard wearing, so you can smash it against the rocks or watch your kids smash it against the rocks usually. And it's got a push pin in the middle, so it breaks in half, and adjustable clip at the top there, so you can lock it back for multiple heights. It's obviously a basic paddle, but it's definitely going to get you on the water. You're going to be able to paddle a season with it, 2 seasons with it, and then when you probably get into paddleboarding, you'll probably want to go down the route and get yourself a glass or a carbon-based paddle. But it will get you on the water, and it'll also get your friends on the water too, without having to worry about them using your expensive paddle. So price points, what are we talking about? How much are you gonna have to spend to get these boards? Well, as I said, these are mid-price point boards, but to be honest, they are fairly cheap mid-price points boards. The smallest one, the Thrive, starts off at £409, up to the most expensive Atlas here, which is the biggest one, at £499. So for under £500, any of these boards, you get a complete package to go on the water. Now that is pretty much a good level price point. You might find cheaper price points on the internet now from maybe lesser known brands, and you'll definitely find more expensive packages on the internet as well. So it sits really comfortably in the middle, and it's probably the sort of price point that most people are expecting and wanting to pay to getting into the sport for the first time. So before we get into the sizes and specifications for these boards, I'm going to give you a little rundown on why you should be looking for a certain length board and a certain width board, so then you can understand almost before I say who should be suiting these boards, what board would suit you best. So basically, the longer the board is, the more glide the board is going to have. The easier it is going to be to paddle it in a straight line because it's got longer, thinner rails, and B, keep going in that straighter line as well. So if you're paddling a 7-foot board, it will be really turny, and if you're paddling a 14-foot board, it will just want to keep going in a straight line. So length, that's the one thing there. Width is the other one. The narrower the board, the faster the board will be because it'll have less drag in the overall width, but the wobblier it'll be. So a 26 wide board, if an extreme, would be really quick but wobbly, and a 34 wide board would be really stable but quite slow, which is why usually you'll find race boards are 14 foot long and 26 inches, 27 inches wide, really slender, and you'll find the more all-round base boards are 10.5 by 32, which a lot of these boards sit around that size here. So bearing that in mind, let's have a look at the sizes of the board. The Thrive, the green board, is the shortest board. It's 10'4" long and it's 31 inches wide. Then we move up to the Beast, which is 10'6" long and 32 inches wide. Then we move up to the Magma, which is 10'10" and 32 inches wide. Then we move down to the Triton, which is 11'2" by 32 inches wide. And last but not least is the Atlas, which is 12 foot by 33. So thinking about what we just said about the board sizes earlier, let's look at the shortest board, the Thrive, 10'4" by 31 wide. It's not going to suit the heavier riders. It will take up to 90 kg riders, but it's going to ideally suit 85, 75 kilogram riders for all-round paddling. It's going to turn. It's going to be the quickest turning board out of all these boards because it's the shortest. So maybe it's going to suit somebody who doesn't want to paddle so far, a little bit more close in, maybe playing around with a family, maybe even getting into some waves because it's not so big to move about in choppy or white water. Moving up in size then, you've got the Beast, which is 10'6" by 32. As I said in the last range review we did, the Beast is pretty much the go-to size for most people. It's short enough still to be able to turn around. It's got a little bit more length and width, so it's nice and stable. You could still take it out in the surf, you could still get your mates into paddleboarding, and you could still stick your head around to see what's around the next corner. So the Beast is your bulk standard all-round size board, and it's going to suit up to 95 kg paddler quite happily. 85 kg will be really loving the Beast. Now the next board we're going to talk about is the Magma, and we do get a lot of questions about the Magma and the Beast and trying to work out which board would best suit a certain person. The simple way to think about it is they're both virtually the same board, and they're both going to take up to the same weight of rider, 95 kg, quite happily. But the Beast is much more maneuverable than the Magma. Just having a bit more length off of the nose, because the Beast is 10'6" and the Magma is 10'10". The Magma is going to be easier and go in a straight line a bit easier. It's going to offer itself much better at doing longer distances. So if you wanted to more concentrate on paddling further than sort of turning around more or going in the waves more, then the Magma is probably the board for you. If you just want to keep it really as an all-round board and keep your options open, then the Beast is the board for you. So the Magma is a bit more set up for longer distances, being a little bit longer, but it's still got the width at 32 wide to give you a good amount of stability if you're getting into the sport. And moving on from there, the Triton is pretty much the same as the Magma except longer again, 11'2" by 32 wide, so you've got more length there. It's going to be easier again to paddle in a straight line. It's still got the same stability as the Magma. So if you're looking at it and you're like, I'm just going to go paddleboarding, I want to get into the sport, but I really want to cover some miles, I want to see what's around the corner, but I still want my friends to give paddleboarding a go, but I'm not really interested in catching waves, then you're definitely going to be looking at the Triton or the Magma. And the Triton is going to be a lovely board to paddle a little bit further, to go around that next corner, to see what's around that next riverbank. If I had to predict it in this range of boards, I would say the Triton would probably be a very popular board with the entry-level paddler that just wants to paddle a little bit further, and the Beast is definitely going to be the most popular board for the entry-level paddleboarder, but that wants to do a bit more and potentially go surfing as well. So moving on to the big board, the Atlas, 12 foot by 33. Okay, so it's wider, you've got more width there, but you've got more length as well. So it's still going to paddle in a straight line, it's still going to paddle nice and easy. Relatively, it'll probably paddle similarly to the Triton because it's a little bit wider. So the speed difference between the Triton and the Atlas will be fairly similar, but the Atlas will go in a straighter line because it's a slightly longer board. So again, it's definitely more set up for longer distances, for going in a straighter line. It's not really going to surf. If you are a heavier rider, maybe you're up to the 120 kilos, 130 kilos, the Atlas is really going to suit you to get into the sport as a first time and to take you places to go around the next river bend. So to give you a quick rundown of the max weights of these boards, I would say 100 kg paddler max on the Thrive, 110 max on the Beast, 115 max on the Magma, so it's similar to the Beast, 120 there down there for the Triton, and right up to maybe 130, 135 for the Atlas. So you can see how this advanced all-round Aqua Marina range will get a lot of people into the sport and at a very good price. You've got a large range of boards to choose from. Just remember, if you're looking at a shorter base board, it's going to be way more maneuverable and less straight line tracking and glide. Looking at a longer base board, it's going to be less maneuverable, but it's going to be easier to paddle further. Sizes wise, the bigger the board, the easier it is going to be to paddle, obviously. But if you're looking at an all-round base board, you're probably going to be looking at the Beast, and if you're looking at an all-round base board, paddle a little bit further, then you're going to be looking at the Magma or the Triton. The bigger board, take more distance, carry more load, definitely going to be Atlas, and the smaller board, the Thrive, much better for the lighter base riders wanting to do a bit of everything and maybe a bit of surfing. So I really hope you found that SUPboarder video interesting, and it's given you a bit more awareness about why a longer board is easier to paddle in a straight line and a shorter board is easier to turn around. Check out SUPboarder Mag for more videos and great stuff, and also check out SUPboarder Pro if you're getting into SUP and you just can't get enough of it. We do loads of contents and reviews and techniques and all sorts of stuff on the SUPboarder Pro site as well. Subscribe to YouTube, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time.